Good morning, happy Sunday everybody. I'm really excited to be doing my very first YouTube channel vlog video, and we're going to be talking a little bit about childhood anxiety. I got a lot of questions and responses, which I'm really excited about, and the first one we're going to start with is that, childhood anxiety, so stay tuned. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to talk a little bit about the purpose of anxiety first. Why do we even feel anxiety? How does it have a place in our lives? And the reason for anxiety is somewhat simple. It's to warn our bodies that there is danger or that there's a reason to move. So when we start to sense danger subconsciously, our body goes into action mode. Our heart rate is heightened, adrenaline spills in from the brain, our breathing gets rapid, we start to sweat, our eyes are dilated in order to see things better, which is helpful if we're running from a predator, right? Or in a severely dangerous situation where we have to move and escape. But in everyday life, it can be difficult when you have anxiety and there's not actually danger happening, and it can stop you in your tracks. It tends to turn off the frontal lobe of the brain, which is our decision-making processing center right here. And when that's shut off, we just move into action. We're not thinking about things. We're not thinking about whether or not we're safe. We're not thinking about whether or not these fears are logical. We're just feeling and overly anxious, and it almost immobilizes us. And for a lot of people, it does. You are completely immobilized in your anxiety, and it turns into a panic attack. So with that happens in adults and children, and it can kind of present itself differently with children, however, though. There's a lot of studies as of late that are linking childhood stomach aches and headaches and nightmares and even throwing up to childhood anxiety. So if your child is suffering from any of these physical problems nightly, weekly, daily, then maybe there's some anxiety going on and something else that needs to be addressed there. There's something that they're afraid of that is maybe causing their body to jump into this reaction. So it could be something that's happening at school. It could be something that they've witnessed as of late and they're fearful of happening. It could be separation anxiety. It could be, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of reasons. New experiences. People are now starting school again. Kids are going back to school. That's a scary thing. They don't know what to expect. They don't know if they're going to be safe. They don't know what's going to happen to them while they're there. So anxiety kicks in, they're not feeling well, they're all of a sudden not compliant, they're not working with you very much, and it can be difficult. It can be difficult to process through. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the coping skills that you as a parent can do. And also, if you're noticing some of these symptoms on a daily basis, it might be time to see a therapist and get a professional opinion. One of your children might be in need of some professional help and need to be diagnosed with anxiety, and then you both can learn together more in depth than in this video coping skills to work with each other and move forward through the anxiety. So with adults and with children, breathing is a huge coping skill for anxiety. If our breathing is rapid and our temperature's raised and our heart's racing, breathing can actually reboot the nervous system. It slows everything down again. If we're taking slow, deep breaths in the nose and blowing our entire air out through our mouths, it reboots the nervous system and slows things down so that you are then able to think again with your frontal lobe. Blood rushes back to that part of the brain, and you can make logical decisions and really decide if it's something that's dangerous or not, okay? And I know that sounds silly, but that's really how you cope with anxiety in the moment. Slow, deep breaths. There's something that I call the 3 squared. You breathe in deeply for 3 seconds, blow out deeply or completely for 3 seconds, 3 in, 3 out, hold for 3, and do it again. And you can repeat this as many times as you want. Nobody knows you're doing it. It's something that's kind of just done within yourself, and that's very helpful for calming everything down. Now with children, it's going to take some practice. They're going to need to learn to be able to calm themselves down and start that breathing process. After a couple times, they'll learn that it helps, and they'll be able to utilize that when they start feeling that anxiety, that need to run almost feeling and get out. They can start to breathe and remind themselves that they're in a safe space. Now, if they're not in a safe space, that's something entirely different, and you might need to talk to them about the steps to take if they really are feeling like they're not safe in their environment at that time. Another coping skill is mindfulness, and I'm going to go ahead and put a link here on this video to a couple mindfulness exercises that are extremely helpful, and they can kind of take themselves on a journey almost if they're really good at with imagination and taking themselves out of the world and into play. This is something that will work for them. They'll be able to sit down and think and imagine themselves in a nice, calm place, floating in water, flying in the sky. Mindfulness is something that's helpful in adults and children. It's something that you can do at any time by closing your eyes or even removing yourself from the situation if you need to. And you can imagine yourself in a calm place. A lot of people set up their safe space beforehand. So with children, it's really good to sit down and talk with them and talk about something or somewhere that makes them feel safe, so that when they start to feel anxiety, they can close their eyes and take themselves there. And this, of course, will take practice as well, but it's something that really helps as a coping skill for children who are suffering from severe anxiety. Another coping skill would be support and validation from parents. Sometimes it seems like their fears are totally crazy and silly and oh my gosh, you're scared of that. But really, it's real to them. They're feeling this from a very deep place inside. If it's causing anxiety and they're feeling that physical response, then they really are fearful at that moment. That physical response is because something is real and they're feeling danger. So as a parent, it's really important to validate those feelings and let them know that, hey, I understand that you're feeling really scared right now, and that's okay. It's okay to be scared. And support that emotional feeling and where they're at, that vulnerability. Let them know that you're going to be there with them. And then maybe you can talk about how it might be unrealistic to be feeling that way. Like, for instance, they might be afraid of being kidnapped, okay? So you can say, I can understand why that might be really, really scary, and I want to be here with you. So in order to support you, we're going to talk about ways to stay safe at all times. We're going to talk about what I will do to keep you safe at all times and what you can do to keep yourself safe. And that will really help, knowing that you validate them, you don't think they're crazy, you're going to support them no matter how they're feeling. That will calm some of those anxiety feelings that they have inside as well. Other than that, that's my quick video here on childhood anxiety. If you have any more questions, please tag them below this video. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and keep answering, and I'm sure we'll do an anxiety part 2 here pretty soon. Anxiety is huge, as well as depression. That was a lot of the questions that I got. So I'll address it again, and if you have other questions to further this video, let me know or shoot me an email. I'd be happy to chat with you. Thanks, guys. Bye.